What's up, guys? This is, well, I think this is episode 3 of Life is Strange, and, well, I got an interesting topic, one that I have a lot of experience on, and that is moving. No, not like walking around or anything. I mean, changing houses and that kind of stuff, which I've done way too much of in my life, honestly. But, anyways, I have done my fair share of moving in my lifetime. 12, 13, maybe 14 times. For a vast multitude of reasons. But, I was born here in Coon Rapids, and I lived with my grandparents for the longest time. My mom was 18, obviously she didn't have her own place. My dad was, I think, 23, 24, so it was kind of, you know, my dad lived with his parents, my mom lived with hers. But, from Coon Rapids, I think we moved to Minneapolis, which, that's kind of a big change, you know, from suburbs to a city. But, I mean, I've kind of lived everywhere. And then I can't really remember where I went after that. I think I moved to Andover to live with my dad's parents. Somehow that whole time is kind of a huge mess. I know, well, okay. The biggest move for me early on was in the middle of 2nd grade, so I must have been, what, 7 or 8? I moved from Coon Rapids to Cambridge, which is, well, you're basically going from a normal suburb that everyone loves, except my dad, to the country. A place where everyone is a wannabe cowboy. It was hell. I hated my mom so much for it. It was probably one of the worst things to happen to me, and I lost all of my good friends and everything. It wasn't pretty. Anyways, from there, I go through the second half of 2nd grade, 3rd and 4th grade, then I move to Blaine, go through the first half of 5th grade, because my mom and her ex, who is both of my brother's dad, they decided to try again, and that failed horrendously. Thank God. From there, we moved back to Coon Rapids, where I did the second half of 5th grade, and then 6th grade. So now I'm like 12, 13, or maybe? I can't remember. But from there, get done with 6th grade, and guess what? We move again, this time to Isanti, which is like the sister city to Cambridge, which it's a downgrade, honestly. Which Isanti is basically like a street with a few buildings on it, and then some buildings down the highway, and like 2 other roads on the side of that, and that's really all you got. Isanti is possibly the least town-ish town you could ever be in. And holy shit, I thought Cambridge was bad. Now, in Isanti, I was cognizant of my surroundings. Everyone here was a wannabe cowboy. There was 1 black student. Oh my, how's that for diversity? And I hung out with him because we were both transplants from, well, suburbs. And we both hated it there. Not really surprising. I did 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then, yeah, finished 9th, and then guess what? We moved back to Coon Rapids. What the hell? And here I finished up, yeah, we moved back to Coon Rapids in 2017, after I finished up 9th grade. And then, well, I only had 3 more years of school left. 3 years ago. So we moved back to Coon Rapids, and here I am still. Now, a lot of the reasons for moving have been the worst parts. When I moved to 90% of the moves that I've been put through have been because my mom has met a new guy. Simple as that. It's like, can I please have some time to stay in this one place so that way, you know, I can have friends and do stuff with them. Because, like, that's what people usually do. But no, I never really got afforded that, that part. It was just kind of me against the world, I guess, if that's a good way to put it. But the craziest part is it never really, okay, well maybe it's not crazy, but it never felt like a natural move. Like, oh yeah, we're going to this place because it's gonna be like a better life and it's gonna be great. It's like, no, you met a new guy and then we're going there. The reason we moved to Blaine, my mom got back with her ex. The reason I moved to Cambridge, my mom met this fucking douchebag security guard who liked pretending he was a cop named Blake. The reason we moved to Iceni, through her CNA course, or classes, or whatever the hell it was, she met a guy named Ken. Really cool guy. Ken, if you hear this, you're still a badass. And then, from, actually, there, okay, while we were in Cambridge, and, okay, in Cambridge, we were living in some apartments, and then we moved inside those apartments to the apartment right under us. Actually, no, right above us, because we went from the first floor to the second floor. So going up a flight of stairs was worth a little bit less in rent. Mom, you already have bad knees and you've already had a knee surgery. Why are you doing this to yourself? And then in Iceni, we moved from the apartments on one side of the street to the other side of the street. Oh boy, the only difference is now I'm further from middle school, and now, yeah, I'm further from school, and now we're in the same parking lot as a Subway. Is that the only benefit? Yay, I'm now within walking distance to the grocery store. It made no fucking sense at all, but what can I do about it? I've never lived anywhere out of state. I've been in Minnesota my entire life, thank God, because I would not want to live anywhere else. If I were to go down to the south, I don't want to pick up the accent of anywhere down there. Except maybe Texas, because maybe I could pull that off without even having to try. And it's way too fucking hot down there. I don't want to move to the East Coast because, well, it's Jersey and New York. Either you're dealing with douchebags and lawyers, or you're dealing with liberals and lawyers. So, either way, you're kind of fucked. I don't want to go to the West Coast because either I'm going to get shot living in California by people who legally aren't supposed to have a gun, but the people who legally can have a gun can't. Or I'm going to be surrounded by liberals and surfer dudes. I could go towards the Midwest to, I don't know, Nebraska, but then I'd be bored out of my mind all the time because Nebraska doesn't fucking exist. There's only like 2 states I would actually move to, now that I can really think about it, and one of them, which is kind of a weird choice, but it's always going to be Alaska because the place is beautiful and you get paid for living there. Also, crab there is like cheap as fuck. The other place, Maine, because same general weather as Minnesota, except lobster is stupid cheap. And, well, I like seafood, as probably the Alaska part already told you. Also, I'm killing a whole bunch of salmon, which, Alaska, also good for salmon. Maybe not as good as like Oregon or something, or Washington, but still pretty good. actually Alaskan salmon. They're kind of famous for it, last I checked. Anyways, and the main problem I always had with moving was not only do I have to change schools and everything, I gotta get used to a whole new type of people, but all of the friends that I ever make just kind of get ditched. Like, oh boy, I finally have people I can say are friends now, and, well, they're gone. It's absolute, it was absolute hell, because I couldn't stay in one place long enough to have a good group of friends that I could call my own until I got out of school. Literally, the only person I have had consistent friendship with since middle school is Dakota. He's been there every single night and day because, well, he has no friends either. Sorry, Dakota. If you're seeing this, you know it's true. Yeah, he's really been like the only one. Since high school, I have a few. I got Nate. He's been like the #1 because he's a fucking bro. And I wouldn't trade either of them for the world. And because I know that no matter what, they're gonna have my back through every single little stupid fucking thing I get myself into. Which, knowing my life so far, they've already been here for probably the stupidest of it. So, I got nothing to worry about. I mean, since knowing Nate and Dakota, I've been through 3 relationships, 4 or 5 moves, something like that. Well, definitely in Dakota's, or definitely in Nate's case, I've been through 4. I think for Dakota, I've only been through 3, but those 3 were like the biggest ones. Anyways, moving has just been a very tumultuous thing for me because it's just happened so much and it's made such an impact on my goddamn life that I can't really do anything. I can't do anything about it. That's also one of the main issues because I've never had a say in where we move, what school I go to, what these new people are gonna be like, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. I mean, imagine if you're like the most laid back, loves to chill on the beach dude coming out of Florida. You need ocean waves and to get trashed on the shores every Friday night, and you just have that party mentality, and life is just constantly fast as shit for you. And then you move to say you move from that to Montana. It's like you're not gonna be able to handle that at all. I mean, if you have a good enough reason, yeah, you'll get through it no problem. But most people don't have that reason, and I sure as hell didn't. I didn't have a reason to want to be like all these other kids that I had around me, you know, with literal cowboy boots and cowboy hats and dwelling in the truck culture. That was never me. Because, well, I'm a gamer and a history nerd, so I don't really blend in with them at all. Which kinda makes sense if you really think about it, because, oh boy, he knows nothing about cars. Maybe we shouldn't push this on him. Yeah. And I've never wanted to move anywhere except for either back to my grandparents from everywhere I was, or out to my dad's, which the dad's thing, that hasn't really been a huge issue, because now that I can actually go to my dad's whenever the fuck I want, things have kind of settled down, especially because my parents aren't trying to kill each other anymore. I mean, the first 15 years of my life were them constantly at each other's throats every single weekend. Oh, is he coming over to my place this weekend? No, he was yours last weekend, but I want to see my son. Both of my parents were very immature about it, But I mean, they're both fighting over their kids, so really they both have a very justified reason. My dad's sense of fun is a lot more dangerous, but he would have had me in safer living conditions. But my mom, her version of fun was a lot safer, but more dangerous living conditions. So it's either, do you want to be bored out of your mind all the time, but have your just general existence be exciting, or do you want to have like or do you want to every single weekend go blow stuff up and, I don't know, raid junk houses, but during the week have your mind just kind of rot? See, there was no middle ground. And yes, my entire life, all I wanted was to finally move back into my grandparents' place, because it's the place I know the area around it, it's a fun place, I know the people that live there, but my mom would constantly shut me up, like, we're not moving back in with my parents. It's like, Mom, you can't even hold yourself up here with another person you're living with, having a job and everything. You're kind of screwing yourself over here. I mean, especially with that Blake asshole, he loved to gamble away rent. Basically, like it was nothing. Which, surprise, surprise, dude was a douchebag. Can't really expect much more from him. But, can't really do anything about that now. It's in the past. I just wish I could have a chance to go back to some of those places, because I don't know, just the memories I have of them. Yes, my mom's ex Brian, who was the father of both of my brothers, he's a shitbag, but he taught me how to play Call of Duty. I'd happily go back to the brown house we were living in, where we moved literally from the house next door to that house. What the fuck? I'd happily live there for a little while again, and go through those memories with everyone there, because we had a four-wheeler that was from 1970s, and the thing, it was temperamental. You ease down on the gas, and all of a sudden you're doing 30 straight across the yard, rocketing into the fence. It was great. But yeah, and I can't tell you how constantly pissed off I was at my mom for always moving us every 6 months to a year. It was bad. I mean, I've moved back into my grandparents' place a grand total of 4 times. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like, Mom, we keep coming back here anyways. Let's just stay here for a while, get your shit figured out, and then you can go get yourself a house, or a cardboard box, or something. Live in whatever you want. This is America. I'm not gonna tell you where you should go, but I'm telling you, you should probably stay in the place that you know you're gonna be able to do well in for a while, until you can actually have a strong footing. Probably the most controversial move in my mind is when we moved out to Isanti, because we moved out there in, let's see, I was starting 7th grade. No, it was in the middle of 6th grade, so I must have been, okay, if you're 6 in 1st grade, or kindergarten, or from there to 6th grade, I was 12, 13. And this was, okay, yeah, I must have been, no, 12. Because this was about a year before my uncle passed away. Okay, so imagine it's, what, April, May of 2013? Actually, no. about January, February of 2013, and we're like, my mom's basically like, hey, we're moving right in the middle of the school year. What the fuck? We move out there because she meets a new guy, and she says, oh yeah, I want to give Stewie some space, which Stewie is my uncle. He passed away in 2014 from brain cancer that he had been fighting for 5 fucking years. Literally one of the greatest people I will ever meet. If anyone ever brings him up, or I have the chance to bring him up, I will spout out about him because he's a fucking legend. And I was like, no, Mom, you're moving to go see a new guy. All I do is sit in my room and play with my Bionicles. All you do is sit in your room and watch TV. We weren't being loud. We weren't all hyperactive. I wasn't hyperactive at that point. Yeah, mostly. And my brothers were like, yeah, Cruz and Kane had already been born at this time, so they're still like 3 and 4 years old. So really, we were all quiet. Yes, I mean, that's a lot of people to have in one house. Me, both of my brothers, my mom, whatever guy my mom was with at the time, my grandparents, my uncle, and his wife, which, Jenna, you were cool, but you're out of your goddamn mind. What the hell? I'll probably tell the story of my aunt some other day. Anyways, in the middle of 6th grade, I had finished 5th grade, the entirety of it, and half of 6th grade, so I already had a good group of friends. I had a girl I was crushing on, I had teachers that I thought were awesome. I had finally gotten myself set down pretty well. I had a nice group of people that I could rely on. It was great. Alright? Everything was perfect. And then, Mom meets new guy through her schooling. Somehow, because it seems like you should be paying more attention to learning how to, I don't know, take care of old people than you should be flirting with people. And it wasn't even a guy from her class. I think my mom and the guy from her class were originally going to get together, and then my mom met his roommate, Ken, which, thank God, the other dude was kind of weird. He kind of looked like a David Cross, which is hilarious. But, seriously, right as I'm having the best times of my life, it's 2012, all the best music is coming out, Call of Duty and Minecraft have just exploded, I got my best friend Bradley, everything is perfect. Guess what, we're moving again. What the fuck? Didn't you learn last time I got all pissed off at you about us moving? Apparently not, because we're doing it again. We move out there, and I have to finish the second half of 2nd grade. So it's like January, February, right after Christmas break. And that was a shock, because not only is it people that I'm not used to, fucking cowboys, it's people that have already known each other this whole damn time. Which, that's kind of a recipe for disaster, if you really put some thought into it. But I digress. Moving on, shall we? Okay. Most of my teachers are pretty cool. Mr. Goldseth, he's awesome. Colbeck, he's a cheesehead, but still he's cool. I had the teachers were better friends with me than the students were. Like, I would actually hang out during the teacher's lunch with them rather than everyone that was my age. It was so weird, especially Goldseth. I mean, he was like the coolest science teacher ever. And I always got the question of the day right, because I always had my hand up first, and I actually read the fucking books. But yeah. The only thought I've ever had about moving somewhere, like, of my own accord, would be when me and Casey, we were kind of deciding, hey, where's our life gonna go? And we both talked it out and like, well, California is a shithole, and you think it's too hot there. I live in Minnesota. It's hot and cold. So I mean, you get a nice balance. We have fall too, which that's neither hot nor cold. Although fall happens so fast here. It's like, oh yeah, fall happened on a Tuesday. The leaves changed and then all of a sudden there was snow on the ground. Next thing I knew, Christmas decorations were up. Oh shit, it's 4th of July already? Anyways, we were talking... But I was fully ready to move out to California for her. If Operation... I'll leave that for another time. Let's just say I'm playing a very, very long game right now. If it pays off, I will have the best life that I ever could have imagined myself having. And if not, I'm gonna wallow in self-pity for a few years. And then not move on, but I'll be like, you know what, fuck it, I gotta go do stuff. Ow! Did he just shoot me in the ass? I'm holding his arrow. That is so sad. Yeet! That's how you get some. But yeah, I was fully ready. I saved up money for a whole 2 years. Or, okay, year and a half. That's like the longest I've ever saved money without not touching it. And now I'm saving up again by doing plasma. Which, everyone listening, if you guys have a plasma donation center around you, and they pay, do it. You sit in a chair for 45 minutes to an hour, and then they just put $70 on a prepaid card. And you can just keep doing that twice a week, and you just keep getting paid for it. Holy crap. But every single actual cloth and paper dollar I have has been saved away inside a special fund, and I'm gonna put that all to some use. If not a move, then a trip. If not a trip, then a promise. And if not a promise, I'm gonna use that money to make some redemption, to put it lightly. But if X, I'm just gonna put it in some really vague terms. If X equals Y, or if X minus Y equals Z, then Z is gonna be so fucking good. If me minus money equals a badass life, then that life is gonna be really, really fucking good. But I've kind of gone on about that too long. I'm talking about moving. Why am I still on the topic of whatever the hell I was talking about? My mom, I've moved with her every single time. I haven't ever lived without my mother for 19 years. My dad, in my lifetime, he has moved out of his parents' house in Andover, their original place in Andover. My grandpa had an accident way long time ago, and they kind of had to get rid of that giant house. Holy shit. And then my dad moved to his own place, his first own house in Minneapolis. And he moved out of there in like 2004, 2005. And then from there, in 2007, after getting back from Afghanistan, or 2008 after getting back, he moved into the house he's in now. So he's been in the same place for 12 years. My mom always used to call my dad the unstable one, like, oh, he's always about to lose his house, and he's always moving, Mom, he's been in the same place for 12 years. You haven't stayed in the same place for 12 months! Oh my god! It's true, though. It's 100% true. My mom would always call my dad unstable and constantly on the verge of completely screwing his life over, even though, yeah, my dad has gone through some serious shit in the last decade. He's always held it together. Or at least if he hasn't held it together, he's done a very good job of making it look like he has. Because that's kind of what he does. But, yeah. That's that. Yeah. My grandparents have never moved. Well, my mom's parents have never moved. And they've been living in this same exact house since 1980, I think. And the house was built in 1960, and it's the original farmhouse for the entirety of the city of Coon Rapids. We have the coolest house. Yeah, my grandparents have been in the same place for 40 years, which is, holy shit, that's impressive, especially since that means they got this place, okay, they were both born in 55, they got this place when they were 35. Yeah. My grandparents have been here since they were 35, back in, no, 25, because they were born in 55 to 80. Yeah. That's kind of cool, I guess. My dad's parents, they had a massive house over in Andover during the time I was born, and Grandpa had an accident, and there was a giant lawsuit and stuff. It was dark times in the Wones household, and then they kind of lost that place, and they had to move into a townhouse in Andover. Okay. Same shit, different day, same house, or different house, same town. And then that place just got to be a little bit too pricey for them, so they moved into a apartment over in Rogers, so yeah. My family just has a long history of moving. I don't know of anyone that has been in the exact same house since I was born, except for my mom's parents. Which, honestly, that's one hell of a feat. Being in the same place for 40 years nowadays? God damn. Like, oh my god. Yeah. That's my story about moving. I don't... It's not necessarily that I hate moving, it's just I hate when I have no part in the planning of it, and I especially hate moving to a place I have a very strong dislike of the people. So if, like, I was to move to New York, it would be hell. I'd probably get shot in the first day. I'm not saying I hate New Yorkers, I'm just saying I hate their government and liberals. But I'm not going to bring politics into this, unless you guys want a politics video, which, oh boy, I could... If YouTube didn't kill it, you guys would kill the video of me doing a very political breakdown. Yeah, that's my story of moving. I've been all over the damn place, never outside of the metro area. Actually, I've lived in, what, 5 apartments, 3 townhouses, 3 actual houses, and not a single cardboard box. So, as often as my family goes through some financial crisis, we're pretty good at holding ourselves together. Thank God, honestly, because, well, none of us want to be thrown out, and kind of suck if we got thrown out. So yeah. That's my story. Or at least that one sliver of it. My full story, you're gonna have to buy my book that I have yet to write. And it would probably be boring. I should write an entire book, and, like, it has 1 page in it, but it's a hard copy, or a hard shell book, and it's on the 1 page, it's in quotations, "Fuck this, I'm done writing." Oh, that'll be great. Or, "You expect me to write how much? Question mark? I should do that. It's just like that 50,000 Shades of Grey book, where it's literally 50 Shades of Grey, or Shades of Grey 50,000 times. because that's hilarious. But yeah, this has been episode 3. If you guys have any suggestions for a topic for episode 4, throw them in the comments, read the description, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.